Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are tuning in from. This is BS Buddies Podcast. I'm your host, Joe. That's your host, Ian. We've made bad supervillains recently. Now it's time to make bad superheroes. I'm excited to see what we come up with. So far, I'm the only one who has thought of one. So, like always, it's improv. So,
100% all the time. I'm also just noticing this now, Joe. You just going with the standard background?
Yep.
All right. Good enough for me.
I'm finally not recording in a kitchen, so it's nice to actually show off something other than just the green screen every now and then.
That looks normal. I mean, I can turn mine off, but then you'd see all my basement.
Now we're good.
That'll be all right. It'll be all right.
But we're going to go back and forth, making a few superheroes and see what we come up with. So the first one we got today, I'm going to start off with a name because otherwise I'm going to forget it. We're going to call him Maximum Strength.
Maximum strength. All right.
That's
all
his name because he couldn't think of anything else.
right.
So
real clever, this guy. Really using his noggin.
he put all of his stats into strength, not intelligence. But there is a big caveat. And usually Ian and I will say like, "Oh, his name is Maximum Strength and he teleports or something." No, we're going to stick with the strength.
All right.
But
We're in
there's
the theme of strength.
stipulations. Anything that is under 50 pounds, he cannot lift. Also, he doesn't know his own strength. So, from time to time, he'll pick something up 50 pounds or heavier, and he'll just throw it into space.
He'll just hurl it up there just as hard as he can.
Just because he does not understand how strong he is.
It just like slips out of his grasp, and he's like,
Pretty
yeah,
much.
time to watch some TV." Now, okay, hold on. Now, first I need to establish this. So when we say anything under 50 pounds, we talking like this man can't even go to like a restaurant and get a drink because he tries to grab the cup and he's just like, come on. Or like how is the
I knew exactly that you were going to ask me that question, and that's how I came up with the stipulation. It means anything.
this poor soul? He can't ever get undressed, take a shower, grab his cell phone, do anything. He's just like constantly like, what is it, just like glued to the ground for him? Like
Yeah,
he can't move it at
he
all. Oh
cannot
my
pick it
god.
up.
So he's basically functionless outside of his duties as a superhero. And even then, it's to an extremely limited scope. Need a car moved? No problem. It might end up in orbit, but your car will in fact be moved.
He just brings a 50-pound straw to every restaurant.
He's got like a tungsten straw specifically made. It's like made out of like lead to be like super dense or whatever.
Only sleeps with a weighted blanket.
It's like, can you please set the tray of food down in front of me? And then he's got to like lean down and like grab the fries with his mouth to like chew on them or whatever. And he's like, it's like trying to fit his whole mouth around the burger on the tray. This sounds terrible. This sounds like this poor fellow would be struggling with everything. I hope you've partnered him up with somebody with like telekinesis who can like help him out in his daily life.
His arch nemesis is the blankie.
The blankie. Yeah, man, imagine how terrible that would be for him trying to like go to sleep at all, even.
That's why I said weighted blanket. 50-pound weighted blanket.
What's the weights on it? Cinder blocks? He's got like
Hey, maybe he just has a big cat that lays on him.
And then occasionally he throws his blanket through the ceiling because he can't get it to work right or whatever.
I've practiced this every morning. Slightly lifts up and it just flies through his roof.
He's like, I can do this. I can do this. I cannot do this.
And it's not that he like sometimes forgets and accidentally overthrows it. No, like if sometimes when he's being careful, it just flies.
It just whoosh gone.
Sometimes.
Oh, this maximum strength. You know what? That's a very appropriate name for him. I will say that's 100% appropriate. He deserves that name. He also deserves to be nowhere near anything that could be bad news. Like imagine he's like, oh man, an aircraft carrier. I've always wanted to go on one. He like leans up against it and he goes like screaming out across the water at like
I
1,000 miles an hour.
I just thought of something that makes it even more sad. He can't pick up babies.
Is that
Hey,
really a bad thing?
hey,
Did,
can you watch your nephew this weekend? I literally cannot move him. I cannot hold
literally
him.
not at all. I can stand over the crib. It's like if you make his crib out of like lead, then I can pick up the crib and move it around the house.
But it might go into space.
But it might go into space.
I guess
How much do NASA astronaut suits run for these days? What, 60 grand? 140 grand? I feel like we can make up the money and get something going for this.
his brother could just set the baby in his lap. He just couldn't get up.
It's like Thor's hammer. Anything that you put in his lap just anchors him to the spot. That's a terrible weakness. You like if you throw a pencil at him, it like slams into him and knocks him over like he just got hit by this huge concrete barrier. Just like, oh, here, catch, woof, and then he goes flying. He can't help it. This poor soul. All right,
Let's
so
stop
I think,
torturing this guy.
yeah, God, maximum strength. May he never see the light of day. You put handcuffs on him, literally unbreakable.
The plastic ones.
Yeah, the plastic ones, terrible plastic ones. He can't even break out of them. And now my talk about a cat that lays on, and my own cat now has come to join this. And oh my god, my camera is absolutely dying. Sorry, everyone out there. I don't know what's going on with my camera this evening, but you're gonna see me be really laggy. I've tried everything. Nothing's fixing it. I don't know what's happening. All right, so I've got one. Let's see. I'm not sure of a name for him yet, but you're really gonna like this. And it's not necessarily because his superpowers are bad. So we're gonna say he's like your standard run of the mill superpower. He's got like, you know, the power of flight and, you know, super strength and all the good stuff, you know, the general things that come with the superhero that you want to see. But but he has narcolepsy. So he'll be just like flying along through the sky, you know, out there looking for crime, and then and just he just sails from the sky like a freaking 10-ton weight, just boom, impacts Main Street, slams along the ground, and he's just out for an unknown period of time. And
Hits
then
the
he comes to,
orphanage.
yeah, like he comes to, oh my god. He'll be like in the middle of fighting the bad guy, ready to like throw a punch, and like right as he throws it, he falls asleep and just like slams it, or like his fist connects, but he can't control the power. So now the bad guy goes like flying away.
Can he breathe underwater?
Yeah, we'll give him underwater breath. You know,
Okay,
we'll
that's probably a good thing since the Earth is 70% water. Because I was just
he's out
thinking,
of
like, if that's his weakness, like, he can't breathe underwater, every villain would just work on the sea and just wait for him to fall asleep.
we'll call him let's name him sleep deprived. His name is sleep deprived. Sleep deprived. There's an enemy. He's working out. He's in the Mariana Trench. He's building a secret lair down there. Don't worry, I've got him. And he's flying along looking for it. Boom, it hits, and he just sails to the bottom of the Mariana Trench at like Mach 4. Just you the blue whales are like flying through the air, and there's a tsunami from the impact of it. And he just goes, the villain's like in his lair, like, all right, yes, gentlemen, our evil plans are coming to fruition. And just outside his little window, you see a little trail of bubbles go screaming by. What was that? Where you hear like this impact, all the sensors going off? Was that the superhero sleep deprived? He's at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. What happened? They check in on him. He's just like taking a little nap down there. He's just like all tuckered out. He's just asleep down there at the bottom of the trench. That's terrible. Sometimes he's like flying up out, to get up into the air and he falls asleep. He just sails up and out of Earth's orbit. He's like
Gets a
up in
little too
space.
high
Yeah.
and
He just
has
like
too much
pulls away
momentum.
pulls away from Earth's gravity and is like, in recent news, sleep deprived the superhero seen on a impact trajectory with Mars. Like just
Will he
like
wake
hits
up
the
in
moon.
time?
Yeah,
More at
hits
5.
hits the moon, takes like a chunk off the side of the moon. Everyone's like, "Oh, eyes to the skies tonight. Sleep deprived's about to hit the moon." You can see like pieces of it break off where he impacts. Like, well, there goes the ocean currents and tides. They're done for.
Well, for the
Or
next,
sleep deprived.
yeah, poor sleep deprived and maximum strength.
Yeah, right. Man, these guys are terrible. I would never wish these guys to be a super. At that point, don't even be a superhero. You know what I mean? Just, just do it. Do your day job. Don't tell anyone about your powers.
What is maximum strength gonna do? He can't work an
Uh,
office job.
I guess
He
be
could do
incarcerated for the rest of his life.
construction.
Yes, he's the heavy lifter. The company just has to be very willing to take annual losses based on the equipment that he throws into space.
Just steel beams. Like, your only job is steel beams. We can afford to lose a few every year.
Yep. Just move those, and whenever you throw one, just let someone know. We'll mark it down. Keep working. It'll be all right.
Anyway, this idea came from watching your camera. Uh, gonna call this guy Lag Switch.
Oh no.
His power is he can disrupt electronics by touching it, and it'll lag out and eventually power down. Kind of like an EMP, kind of. But he also lags in real life. The more the more stress he is under, the more he lags. So he'll like rubber band back and forth. His speech will be lagged.
You imagine like he's in school. Hey man, do you know what you homework? Are you okay, dude? No, no, I'm fine. I'm just probably need therapy. He's like glitching out back and forth.
What's
Imagine him,
go
he like walks into the classroom on test day and he like doop, and rubber bands back out the door. He's like trying to walk into the classroom and he keeps getting like slammed out. He's trying to open the door and it's just not working. He's like turning the handle. Nothing's happening. I can see the handle turning. It's not moving.
What's wrong with Ted? Oh, he has Tourette's. It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. He's got like a little ping sensor in the corner of his vision at all times, and it just maxes out at like 999 whenever he's lagging. He's like,
It's
"Oh,
on
gonna
his
be
hat.
lagging, guys." Yeah,
That's the logo
it
on his hat.
constantly displays and changes based on how the ping is working for him.
Imagine him on a first date.
Oh, that would be terrible. So, what kind of hobbies do you like to have? Have? I think I'm gonna go. No, 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 I promise. I'm totally okay. Just like absolutely tweaking out in the chair. Looks like he's having a seizure or something. He would, oh, and then he's like, "Oh, you got this cool restaurant here. Let me see your phone." He accidentally touches it, and the phone just like bricks right there, and that's it. Her phone's done for.
Here, let me type my number into your phone. Let me buy you a new phone.
He presses two, and it's just like 4,000 twos. Just, and then he's like, "Yep, that's." You ever heard of pen pals? How about we be pen pals? Let's be pen pals. I got a buddy who could be a pen pal too. I'll just have to write the letters for him. You let me know. He can't pick up anything. It's all right. It's fine. It's a
he
non-issue.
he would need the most patient, most non-technological person ever to be his
He
life
would
partner.
he would be like he'd be a very like middle ages superhero. Like he travels by horse and buggy because any vehicle he gets into, it either like accelerates to the maximum or won't even start. He just has to do everything with like pen and paper and no engines, no electronics, nothing.
Ah. You got one more?
I do have another one. So it's a speedster concept, right?
Okay.
Um, let's see. We're just gonna call him K. Just the letter K. That's it. Just K, and you'll see why. So he's a speedster, right? He can run really fast. The drawback is his muscles are not attuned for it. So he's constantly getting runner's cramp because he's expending, the energy as if he just ran like 500 marathons in the span of half a second. And so he's just got to keep like this backpack full of bananas with him at all time for potassium, which I think
Monkeys
that
never cramp.
the elemental symbol for that is K, isn't it?
Yep.
Or elemental, whatever it is. But yeah, that's why his name is K. He's just got to keep bananas on him.
If
Like,
if you want me to be honest, I thought you were gonna go in the way of he runs so fast, he runs his bones like separate from his muscles. But I really appreciate you went with a cramping thing.
oh my god, that'd be terrible. Just like, all right, I'm gonna run to the end of the block, and then all his muscles just collapses into a pile, and he's just a skeleton that collapses at the end of the block. That'd be terrible. You could use that power exactly once, and that would be it. He'd exist no more.
Unless you have the power of Deadpool, where you just regenerate.
Very true. Very true. He's like, all right, hey, I'm gonna run to the grocery store real quick. Zip. He zips down there and he's just like shoving bananas in his mouth as fast as he can. He's sitting there on the curb, just holding his legs. Ah, ah. Can't even like walk properly. He's just sitting there. He's like, my legs are killing me.
He runs by a gym. It's like, oh, leg day hurting you too, buddy.
You have no idea. He just pulls another banana out of his backpack. He's got to make like constant smoothies that are full of potassium just so that he can keep his muscles from cramping on him. Oh
That's a
god, that
good
would
one.
I know leg cramps, man. That would be so terrible. Just every time. Ah.
I'm trying to think of. Oh,
Oh, I've got another good one.
I was thinking of
Equally,
like a movie where like cramp in one leg and then like cramps in the other. Is there one or is that a show? I know they did it in SpongeBob like multiple times. Squidward, he's
I don't know.
dancing and he cramps
His
in
cramp.
one leg and then he's trying to nurse that, so then he's cramping in the other leg.
Oh god, that'd be the worst. All right, I've got one more good one. Well, not a good one. It's actually a terrible one. It's horrific.
Oh, great.
It's it's kind of on par with who's the one dude from the X-Men with the sunglasses and he like shoots the laser beam out of his
I
eyes.
don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, his name's
Let
right
me
on the
look him
tip of
up.
my tongue. So anyways, it's a guy. He's got X-ray vision, except the problem is that he bombards whatever he's looking at with radiation because that's how his X-ray vision works. So he looks at you and he's just like, let's see if he's carrying a gun. Oh no, you've got cancer. Just-
um, you said X Men.
I think so, yeah. I think he's part of the X-Men.
X Ray.
X-ray, that's who it is.
Wow,
X-ray.
we should have known. That's
Should have. Coulda, shoulda. I thought it was something to do with laser, but I don't. Apparently, I was wrong. Shows how much I know. Shows how much I keep up on everything.
That's all right. I've only watched like 4 superhero movies. Actually, 7 out of the 100.
Hundreds that exist. I. Oh man, just thinking about that, right? And thinking about like how many superhero movies have been made over the years. A superhero who has honestly whatever power you want, however you want to envision him,
The
except that all of his superpowers are like old movie practical effects. So like his flying is just like a cable that's strung up to like a crane, like punching through a wall, except that it has to be like a styrofoam painted wall. So he's essentially like a normal guy. None of his powers actually translate into anything. But he
that's
just
his
has this
power.
idea. He has this idea in his head that he's a superhero. But yeah, all of his powers are essentially they look super fake. So like yeah, he'll punch a concrete wall, but then it's like styrofoam when it crumbles. You know what I mean? So then it just looks like it's like oh, like he picks up a car and it looks like a wooden prop. You know what I mean? It looks like it weighs nothing. So he looks like he's just a normal dude and has nothing. And his fighting abilities against real superheroes are like pitifully nothing because there's no there's no sort of like proper practical effect that can replace an actual fight.
I like the idea of like every time he touches concrete, like no one knows. They just think he's just this lame dude, but he when he touches concrete, it turns to styrofoam. When he touches cars, it turns into like a wooden prop. Like legit that's his power, but no one believes him.
No,
And
nobody at all. They're just like, you fake that, man. You set that wall up to be that way before. No, I swear, I promise I didn't. Just, I feel like you could honestly probably spin that into some kind of cool superhero story if you played your cards right, but I don't know how you would.
comic relief.
He'd be there for the comic relief. He really would.
But think think that does it for this episode. But
I'm starting to run dry on ideas. I'm not gonna lie.
that's all right. Let us know down below which superhero you would want saving you.
Hopefully, the answer is none of them because none of them will help you when you need it. They will all be terrible. Don't worry, citizen. I'll get you out here. Next thing you know, you're in the stratosphere going, oh, that's the sun. And then your face melts off because there's no atmosphere to protect you.
But thank you guys for BSing with us today. Subscribe to become a bud today, and we will see you next time when we get saved by one of these superheroes. Hopefully not, but you know.
We'll see you when you're crashing to Earth at Mach 3 because the guy who picked you up and flew you out of there just fell asleep randomly in the middle of the flight. But until then, you just make sure you take her easy now.